The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you for having successfully completed your qualifications. To you we say, Halala. To all our graduates and diplomandi in this ceremony, please pay attention to the following instructions. For degree qualifications, a graduations officer will signal degree candidates to rise and approach the stage. You will need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand with your hood already draped over your shoulders. One of the official photography officers will take the yellow photography card from you. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up onto the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand in your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first onstage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. You will then proceed towards the chancellor, vice chancellor or acting vice chancellor and kneel with your right knee on the stool. At this point, your degree will be conferred. You will then proceed to the next official who will congratulate you by shaking your hand. Continue towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Turn and face the audience and remember to stand on the mat with feet markers in front of the registrar and smile for the camera. A second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table at the far right to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. For postgraduate and undergraduate diploma candidates, you will also be wearing your hoods before entering the hall. You will be signaled by a graduations officer to rise and approach the stage. You need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up to the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. Proceed towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Stop in front of the registrar and stand on the mat with feet markers. Turn and face the audience. Your second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table on the far right of the stage to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area, where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. We hope that you will enjoy this occasion. The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you.
Today is the time for change. Today is when we must reform the global architecture if we are going to be prepared for a future in which Africa is able to reclaim its place.
It is my dream and my wish that our Africanization agenda become quite important, because the world yearns for multiplicities, not just monolithic knowledge systems that make us all the same when we are different flowers, different trees, different rivers.
You overcome the old in order to create the new. If you perpetuate colonial mentalities, you are replicating the old. You are not creating the new. You are not contributing to a renaissance. Obviously, UNICEF must say, were part of the African Renaissance, and therefore as part of the African Renaissance, it must be to kill even this slave mentality from colonialism and all of that. It has to do that. If it doesn't do that, then it's not part of the process of the Renaissance on our continent.
The 10 catalytic niche areas that were introduced by the principal and vice chancellor when she joined the university in 2021, they provided her vision in addition to what we already had in the strategy. But they aligned so well because they are groundbreaking in nature in terms of a lot of issues that are relating to our developmental needs.
There's interconnectedness in the catalytic niche areas, but also in the economic opportunities that we could derive from optimizing their implementation. They are optimizing the assets that are already available in Africa.
The third flagship project by the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences is our experimental farm. One of the real reasons that I came to UNISA as a next generation academic is because UNISA involves you in their decision making. They don't just make the decisions and then tell you what you need to do. You are actively involved every step of the way.
And building the farm is one of the things that would help us to be able to train in food production and bring the technology that would allow you to actually produce faster, better, and good food. And we're not talking about the GMO food, we're talking about our original crops that we have, our original animals that we have, but we will then have to select them proper for the proper production.
Academics all have their own areas of research, but with the distinguished professors and with the catalytic niche areas across the university, these are areas that we highlight for for special consideration, and it's something I'm doing in my niche area as well, looking at tracer studies to see actually what does actually happen to students after they've graduated. So the tracer study would track the graduate into the world of work, or even into the world of unemployment or entrepreneurial, or these days the gig economy, to see what the impact of their qualification has on various aspects of their lives. And the feedback from those would help you to design or redesign your programs so that you can ensure a better fit between the qualification and the market need.
Even though we have the quest to be part of the global village, that should not happen at the expense of us knowing who we are, what are our values, what are our cultures, because if we step out into the global village without an identity, we will be lost as a people.
For us to progress, to become independent, to become prosperous, to become united, we're going to need a cadre of future leaders who are purpose-led, who believe in Africa, who believe in what Africans can do, and who contribute to what Africa can be.
UNISA is my past, my present, my future, and my sense of knowledge.
My hope for a better life. It's my pride.
UNISA is my second chance.
It's my technology stimulator.
It's a catalyst for my personal growth.
UNISA is my place of stability.
A source for me to gain more knowledge and wisdom.
And also for my community.
UNISA is my happy home.
My pathway to learn, lead, and leave a legacy.
Artificial intelligence is going to have such a big impact on society. How well prepared is the society to cope with that? It must not become a conservative university. We've always done this stuff, we'll call it do this. But to say that we must always be competent and make a contribution to a rapidly changing world.
So we have the responsibility to be at the center of solutions to underemployment and unemployment. And therefore, as a Vice-Chancellor, I must think about not only the present, the vision with the management team and the collective leadership must be what are the solutions that we put for the future. The staff, academics, professionals, administrative staff, students, alumni are quite excited about this new vision and what they have to do to support it and to collectively implement, and to be committed to building even more assets than what we have gained in the 151 or 2 years of UNISA's existence. That's the vision into the future. The movements for independence, whether against apartheid or against colonialism, UNISA somewhat provided opportunities for leaders to study. Also, they're not monolithic in their political stance. They come from different commitments, and that's what is the asset at UNISA. We're not just channeling specific ideology, but we give the critical knowledge so that people can make constructive choices that are consonant with how they imagine their roles in society.
If we don't do anything, no one else will do it. And it is us who needs to make the change. It is us who needs to make the difference.
We went to work at the quarry. Hard labor, intensively hard labor, was meted out by the warders. In winter, they would provide something that was akin to a jersey, but really very skimpy. So we had to work during the day. And only when we come back at around 4 o'clock from the work camps would we be allowed to have dinner,
go back into your different cells and study from 6 until 8 o'clock, because at 8 the lights went off. So some of us stole time, and many stole time because the windows, although they were barred, would let in some moonlight. It was not infrequent to find people fighting for a piece of the moonlight so they can do their assignments with UNISA. And remember, as a prisoner, there were 4 classifications, A, B, C, D. We were D class, that means the worst possible offenders. But after 6 months or a year, we were told that the prison laws will allow us to study. Those of us who have the ability, the prison was not going to provide the facility nor the funding. So I had meant to continue to be, hopefully, a successful musician. The University of South Africa then offered a certificate in theory of music. So might I say, I still have that diploma hanging at my house because I passed with flying colors, and my certificate was given to me in Afrikaans. And you know, I wasn't very spreken in Afrikaans, but nonetheless, I valued that certificate. And many of my colleagues that were there were studying for a variety of other qualifications because of the open and large and broad opportunity that the university provided even during those times.
Gives us a sense of pride that we are leading in this university. It means that the challenge is there, that there are big shoes to fill, but also it also pushes us to ensure that this university reaches the heights that it's supposed to reach.
The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you for having successfully completed your qualifications. To you we say, Halala. To all our graduates and diplomandi in this ceremony, please pay attention to the following instructions. For degree qualifications, a graduations officer will signal degree candidates to rise and approach the stage. You will need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand with your hood already draped over your shoulders. One of the official photography officers will take the yellow photography card from you. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up onto the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand in your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. You will then proceed towards the chancellor, vice chancellor, or acting vice chancellor and kneel with your right knee on the stool. At this point, your degree will be conferred. You will then proceed to the next official who will congratulate you by shaking your hand. Continue towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. turn and face the audience. And remember to stand on the mat with feet markers in front of the registrar and smile for the camera. A second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table at the far right to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. For postgraduate and undergraduate diploma candidates, you will also be wearing your hoods before entering the hall. You will be signaled by a graduations officer to rise and approach the stage. You need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up to the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer
Vice-Chancellor, I constitute this gathering a congregation of the University of South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, we request you to join us in silent prayer or meditation to give thanks for the achievements being celebrated in this occasion. Let's pause for a while. Thank you. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me remind you that we are in a graduation ceremony. And my understanding is that graduation ceremonies are celebratory events. So you ought to be excited. You cannot be quiet when you celebrate. My name is Ramahwai Mahano. I am a professor of parasitology and vice principal, giving oversight to the portfolio of institutional development. My first task this afternoon is to welcome you all to this august event and to extend warm salutations to you on behalf of the Chancellor and former State President of our country, His Excellency Dr. Thabo Mbeki, the Principal and Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor Puleng Lenkabula, and the Council of our university, ably led by Dr. Dan Musia. Unfortunately enough, these leaders of our university cannot be with us this afternoon because they are attending to other matters of the university. My forebears would have seen this and said, Tiro hadilatsane. In any ordinary day such as this one, there will be a multiplicity of events that compete for priority or attention. And the wisdom of my forebears says none of these activities should obliterate the other. In actual fact, each and every one of them must happen. So Professor Puleng Lenkabula, Dr. Dan Musia, and President Thabo Mbeki are attending to other matters of the university. Ladies and gentlemen, graduation is an important and defining event in the life of a graduate. It is typically an event that is saturated with excitement and a deep sense of accomplishment, particularly on the part of those who would be graduating. But then at the same time, it signals the onset of a new era in the lives of the graduates, an era largely characterized by hope and a better future. But for the graduates to have reached this stage, there are significant people who in many ways have made meaningful contributions in the lives of the graduates themselves. These are people who would have sacrificed their livelihoods and their time and other resources to support and encourage men and women who are graduating this afternoon. It is therefore important that as we celebrate the accomplishments of the graduates, that we pause to pay special tribute and attention to the parents, the spouses, the relatives, the guardians, and the friends who in many ways have contributed so much towards the study process of the graduates. Therefore, we unreservedly, as the University of South Africa, wish to congratulate you, the parents, the spouses, the relatives, the friends, and the guardians. You have done well, and you deserve a firm round of applause. To you, the graduates, you have every reason to be proud about your accomplishment this afternoon. You have to be excited. Do not allow this moment to dissipate so quickly. You must arrest it so that you feel every fiber and aspect of it. For you have traveled and you have worked hard to reach this end. So you must be proud about your accomplishment. But the other reasons why you should be proud about your accomplishment is that you're not obtaining your qualification from another ordinary university. You are receiving your qualification from the University of the land, the University of South Africa. Typically, this university is a university of the firsts. Everything that it does, it is the first. It is a trailblazer. Other universities take lessons from what the University of South Africa is doing. Maybe if you think that I'm embellishing things when I say the University of South Africa is the University of the first, you would know that this is the first university in the world, globally, to offer education through distance modalities. Other continents copied from the University of South Africa since its inception in 1873. The mode of delivering education at UNISA has been distance education modalities. And if you study the history of the higher education sector in the country, all other universities that you know about were spawned by the University of South Africa. Maybe you're wondering that is obvious. In 2023, this university was the first to host the Animal Genetics Society, the 39th Animal Genetics Society in the continent. This event never happened ahead of what the University of South Africa did. It was an international event where geneticists from the globe, from the world, descended in Cape Town under the auspices of the University of South Africa to have their 39th Animal Genetics Conference. On the 22nd of May, now I'm just citing the recent events just to convince you that UNISA is the university of the first. On the 22nd of May, just last month, UNISA became the first university to sit in the National Assembly of our country, Parliament, to host an authentic African global conversation in partnership with the Parliament of our country. In the interest of time, the last first is that UNISA is the first university in the continent to own an airport. No other university has an airport in the continent. And this is done in order for us to be able to train our students in aviation. That's fundamentally important. It is a wonderful accomplishment. So I'm saying these things so that you should beam with pride, because you are going to receive your certificate from a worldly renowned university. Ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony is conducted according to the statute of the University of South Africa and the traditions of higher education practiced to celebrate and congratulate students who complete and fulfill all the requirements for the qualifications they would have registered for during their period of study. Now, because of the magnitude of the numbers of students, the high enrollments, we are literally in this winter graduation ceremonies going to run parallel graduation ceremonies. Tomorrow, as we'll be celebrating the accomplishments here in Pretoria, there will be similar ceremonies unfolding in Durban. The Office of the Registrar tells us that in this winter series of ceremonies, a total of 44,760 diploma and degree certificates would have been awarded. Now, there is no university in the country, neither in the continent, which achieves this feat. But in this ceremony, 330 diploma and degree certificates will be awarded, and only 313 of them will be awarded in presential. To assist me to officiate in this ceremony, I wish to introduce the following officials of the university. To start off with, I have my counterpart, Dr. A.C. Chivase, who is the acting vice principal, giving oversight to the portfolio of teaching and learning, community engagement, and student support. Representing the Office of the Registrar is Mr. R. Bezedonwood, who is the director of DSAA. Also, we have Dr. A.J.M. Makola, who is the acting executive director in academic planning. Representing the College of Human Sciences, we have Professor T.D. Mashao, who is the Deputy Executive Dean. Also, we have Professor M.J. Madise, who is the Director of the School of Humanities. The College of Economic and Management Sciences is represented by Professor Nenjelele. The College of Education is represented by Professor L.D. Entlale, who will be giving the Chancellor's address on behalf of the Chancellor, President Mbeki. Also, from the College of Education, we have Professor J.M.C. Moditswe, as well as Dr. G.K.B. Gomba. From the College of Accounting Sciences, we have Dr. T.S. Mashapu and also Professor E.D. Tlero, as well as Mr. S.F. Mgadi. These are the representatives of the colleges that are listed in the acceptance list. In the event I have inadvertently omitted anyone, colleagues, I wish to extend my sincere apology. But of course, we want also to appreciate all members of the academic procession who are here to support the graduates. We appreciate the sacrifice that you are making in order to ensure that this business of the university is accorded the dignity that it deserves. And also, I wanted to acknowledge the supervisors of the doctoral candidates, Professor L. Dube, for the candidate Kelemwek Agafari Kasahun, Professor P. Ngulube for Betty, Mamabusa Sekhameti Molawa, Professor M.E. Musita for the candidate Nesta Magube, Professor F.C. Dibier for the candidate Rogers Kialo Mudei. These are people who have done a phenomenal work in terms of delivering the doctoral candidates, supporting them to complete their studies to the level that is appreciated and also being approved by international examiners, including those who are within the country. That achievement is worth celebrating and worth congratulating. Let us give them a round of applause. But at the same time, there are people who always labor behind the scenes, and I think it is proper and fitting that we acknowledge them. These are people who make sure that an event such as this one unfolds seamlessly. Colleagues in the graduation department of our university are working extraordinarily hard to ensure that a venue such as this one is well prepared to receive the graduates and their families, and to ensure that the certificates are well aligned to permit a seamless ceremony. That requires hard work. And to these colleagues, we want to say, even if your names are not displayed in the programs that we use, do know that your service is not secondary to any. We truly cherish what you are doing for our universities. At the same time, There are colleagues in the security service who actually belong to the portfolio of operations and facilities. Also, know colleagues that we appreciate your services. These are colleagues who have been directing you as you moved into the campus, ensuring that your vehicles are well guarded so that you don't lose anything during the proceedings. We appreciate that service. And also colleagues from the wellness unit of the Department of Human Resources, we want to say thank you. There are paramedics. In the event you need medical attention, they will assist you so that you are able to enjoy the proceedings. Also, we want to extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Isabel van Rensburg for the melodious renditions that he always saturates this auditorium with, the organist. We want to say to Dr. van Rensburg, thank you very much for sharing your skill with us and making sure that our ceremonies have the dignity that they deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude and request the Professor Tlale to give the Chancellor's address, let me make these few announcements. Firstly, I've been hearing cell phones ringing. Please switch off your cell phone. Cell phones are not a new technology. They've been in the country for the longest of time. So at this stage, you should be knowing how to put your cell phone on silent mode. In the event you are unable, still we give you the permission to ask somebody next to you to assist you. So we don't want to hear cell phones ringing during the proceedings. The second announcement is that graduation is a celebratory event, as I've said. Let us celebrate. And in the African context, when we celebrate, bomme, they ululate. They don't scream, but they ululate. And also, when we celebrate, we sound our recitals, maboko arona, the praises that depict our lineages. And also, when we celebrate, we dance. That's what typifies African celebration. Now, we want to say to you, if you want to ululate, ululate. If you want to sound your recitals, do so. If you want to dance, dance. However, remember each of the 313 candidates here deserve to have his or her name being announced without your recital, without your ululation, without the noise that you will be making. So we want to ask you that you do everything in absolute moderation. It does not matter whether your recital is long. Just one word is enough. And you stop to give another candidate the opportunity so that their name is announced without interruption. If we master that, we will enjoy the proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with absolute delight that I request Professor Tlale to deliver the Chancellor's address. Just to crave your curiosity, Professor Tlale obtained his Bachelor of Pedagogy at the University of Fort Hare. He then proceeded to obtain Bachelor of Education honors from the University of South Africa. And because of having an insatiable appetite for education, he proceeded to study towards a Master of Education degree, which he obtained from the University of Northwest. Still, because of the insatiable appetite for education, he proceeded to study his Doctor of Education degree, which he obtained from the University of South Africa. He is an accomplished researcher with an extensive curriculum vitae, and I have just shortened his accomplishments in the interest of time. He is a specialist in inclusive education. Let us put our hands together as we welcome Professor Tlale to the lectern.
To the Chancellor of University of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, in absentia, to the Principal of University of South Africa, Professor Puleng Lenkapula, to Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor S.R. Makhano, to the Acting Registrar, to the executive teams here present, school directors, colleagues, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today we gather in celebration of your achievements, but also in recognition of the profound responsibility you now carry. This is a moment to acknowledge the hard work, resilience, and the achievements of our graduates. Each of you stands at the threshold of a new chapter, carrying the hopes of our families, our community, and your own dreams. As we rejoice, we must also speak with honesty and courage about the challenges that surround us. Our celebration is marked with urgency because our education system and the society face entangled crises that threaten the future of many young people. Deep systemic inequality continues to destabilize the promise of quality education for all. Many of our schools struggle under the weight of aging and crumbling infrastructure, dilapidated classrooms, leaking roofs, inadequate sanitation, and insufficient learning resources. For learners to thrive, schools must be safe havens of learning and growth, but yet too many environments reflect neglect and scarcity. The infrastructure crisis is deepened by the fuel dilemma and essential services disruption that have become a daily reality for many communities. Water scarcity, electricity outages, and rising costs of transportation are not abstract problems. They impact attendance, concentration, the overall well-being of learners and teachers alike. Underlying much of this is a growing impact of climate change. Our communities are facing floods and extreme weather. These challenges strain resources and deepen helplessness. Schools in poorer areas bear the brunt, lacking resilience and resources to adapt to these pressures. The consequences are far-reaching. When education quality is uneven and many young people leave school unprepared, opportunities diminish. Poverty deepens not only as an economic condition, but as a social determining factor. Rising youth unemployment follows, and hopelessness. This situation can breed rising crime. And when youth see no path, some turn to alternatives that further fracture communities. We see this not as a failure of young people, but as a failure of the system to support and empower them. Today, our graduates represent hope in the midst of this crisis. You are equipped not only with knowledge, but perseverance to face adversity. Your generation has the potential to lead transformative change, building more equitable education systems, advocating for sustainable communities, and demanding solutions to climate challenges. To teachers and policymakers, I say the time for complacency is over. Investment in infrastructure, clean energy, water security, and equitable resource allocation are urgent. Education must be recognized as a foundation pillar that can break the cycle of poverty. No one sector must be neglected. To our communities, your role is vital in supporting learners, maintaining dialogue with schools, and fostering resilience in the face of hardship. In confronting these formidable obstacles, I'm inspired by the wisdom and courage of great leaders. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." These words remind us that despite difficulties we face, education is our strongest tool to break the chains of inequality. Each of you graduates carry this weapon with you, not just knowledge, but the strength to transform our communities. Malcolm X taught us the importance of self-empowerment and determination when he said, and I quote, Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare it today. In this spirit, every challenge you encounter is an opportunity to prepare for the future that you will create. You are the architects of a new tomorrow. Steve Biko powerfully asserted that the most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Our mission is clear here: to claim our minds confidently, to educate ourselves fully and fearlessly, to dismantle the structures that perpetuate inequality, and to empower not only ourselves, but to those who come after us. Today, we can draw inspiration from Professor Puleng Lenkabula, Principal and Vice Chancellor of the University of South Africa, who urges us that in education, resilience is not just surviving adversity. It is about transforming adversity into a launching pad for success and innovation. Let these words resonate deeply with you. Our current challenges, crumbling infrastructure, climate change, and service disruption must not be stumbling blocks, but stepping stones to innovation, effective leadership, and change. And to our graduates, you are the leaders, you are innovators, and change makers who will shape a more and sustainable future. Carry with you the lessons learned here, the kindness cultivated, and the passion to ensure no child is denied quality education or opportunity because of their circumstances. Let us honor today, not by celebrating our achievements only, but by renewing our collective commitment to equity, sustainability, and justice. Together, we can turn crisis into opportunity and build a future where every child thrives. Congratulations. May your journey be courageous and impactful. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause for a while to allow those who came late to access the auditorium.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Stop. Please. You must learn to listen. Right. We allowed those who are late to come in. Please respect the starting time of our ceremonies. If it is indicated that the ceremony starts at 2 o'clock, you ought to be available 2 hours before, so that you sort out all the logistical challenges with a lot of ease. Right. We're not going to repeat that again. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give Professor Tlale a firm round of applause for a fitting Chancellor's address. Professor Tlale, thanks very much for the words of wisdom. We picked so many nuggets that are valuable that we can carry for ourselves. What I noted is that you said to the graduates that they must be mindful that the qualifications they have acquired ought not to be limited to them. They have to use them in order to impact lives and to change lives for the better. And also you reminded them to be mindful of the context in which they are graduating, a context that is laden with a myriad of challenges. And therefore the weapon that they possess is the knowledge and the skill sets they have amassed over the period of their studies in order to contend with these challenges and change the conditions for better to benefit the broader society. We cherish what you have shared with us and want once more to thank you for the sacrifices you have taken to prepare such a fitting Chancellor's address. Ladies and gentlemen, let me indicate before we proceed to offer the degrees and the diplomas of the university that are to be awarded in this ceremony, that no one should leave the hall up until we dissolve this gathering. Particularly you, the graduates. After you would have received your certificate, you must revert to your seat. You don't have to go home. You'll only do so once the proceedings are concluded. Right. By virtue of the powers entrusted to me, I shall now proceed to confer the degrees and diplomas of the university on the candidates whose names appear in the program, and I request that the representatives of the colleges to present the candidates to me.
Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Kelemwek Agafari Kasahen for the degree of the Doctor of Philosophy. In the absence of the supervisor, Professor Dube, I will now read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree. In her thesis, Towards a Framework for Data Sharing Among Researchers in Selected Botswana Universities, She addresses the limited adoption of research data sharing practices within Botswana's university research environment. The findings reveal that research data sharing is infrequent both within and across institutions due to concerns about data misuse, fear of losing publication opportunities, inadequate data management skills, absence of formal institutional policies, and limited technological infrastructure. The study recommends the development of comprehensive data sharing policies, institutional incentives, researcher training in data management, and investment in sustainable research data repositories to foster a culture of open science, enhance research visibility, and strengthen national and international collaboration. Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Kelemwek Agafari Kasayen the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Kelemwek Agafari Kasahu.
Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Betty Mamabusa Sikhamezi Mulawa for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request a supervisor, Prof. P. Ngulube, to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree.
In a thesis titled Adoption and Implementation of the Committee of Higher Education Libraries of South Africa's Academic Library Standards for Quality Assurance by Public University Libraries in South Africa, she uses a sequential, explanatory, mixed method research design to examine the level of adoption and implementation of the Committee of Higher Education Librarians of South Africa's Academic Library Standards for Quality Assurance in the 26 public university libraries across South Africa. The goal was to provide evidence to inform policy dialogue, guide institutional decision-making, and support the development of a more coherent and coordinated quality assurance environment for academic libraries. Her research contributes significantly to the field of information management by proposing a model that will assist academic libraries in their quality assurance drive.
Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Betty Mamabusa Sikhamezi Mulawa the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Betty Mamabusa Sikhamezi Mulawa.
Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Nesta Mugabe for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request his supervisor, Prof. M.E. Musita, to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree.
In his thesis, entitled Urban Expansion Patterns and Water Scarcity in Uganda, a case of Greater Kampala metropolitan area, he examines the relationship between urban expansion patterns and water scarcity in the Greater Kampala metropolitan area, where 29.6% of the 27 million inhabitants lack access to adequate and affordable safe water. Using Pearson correlation and multiple regression analysis, the study identified 4 prevalent urban expansion patterns in Greater Kampala metropolitan area: extension, linear, sprawl, and large-scale project developments. While noting the absence of infilling, findings revealed that the extension and linear expansion negatively correlate with water scarcity, suggesting their potential to mitigate it, whereas sprawl and large-scale projects positively correlate, thus exacerbating water scarcity.
Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Nesta Mugabe the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Nesta Mugabe.
Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Rogers Kialo Mutie for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request his supervisor, Prof. F.C. De Beer, to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree. In the absence of the supervisor, Prof. De Beer, I will continue to read the citation. In his thesis entitled An Analysis of Monitoring and Evaluation of the Sustainable Development Goals in Africa towards a monitoring and evaluation competency and curriculum framework, he addresses the unique challenges and opportunities faced by development actors in Africa to foster sustainable development. The study is based on a mixed methods research design using a comprehensive survey of 438 monitoring and evaluation professionals in 36 African countries and 22 key informant interviews. The research identified the most relevant competencies for monitoring and evaluation of the Sustainable Development Goals in Africa and assessed the proficiency levels of monitoring and evaluation practitioners. This thesis makes an original contribution to the field of development studies by convincingly arguing for the application of the technical execution, context, and articulation model as a framework for monitoring and evaluation in Africa. Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Rogers Kialo Mutie the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Rogers Kialo Mutie.
Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Master of Education. Nilufa Ismail obtained the degree with distinction. Karel Alexander van Wyk.
Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, Non-Tobeko receives the Master of Information Science. Mr. Acting Vice-Chancellor, the following candidates receives the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honors. Sanele Quineth Mabele receives the degree with distinction. Priska Shalati Mahoro. Asante Mbata obtains degree with distinction. Kiamogetse Mpho Thabiso Mhlongo. Mbali Magdalene Mlangeni, the degrees obtained with distinction. Tato Perseverance Ndlovu, the degrees obtained with distinction. Silindok Uhle Mtungata. Tulisa Tina Nkakana. Millicent Tulusile Shingange. Shaina Singh.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receives the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Honours. Just wait. Musa Mbasa Matenjwa. Patricia Shengiwe Mbele. Nonhlanhla Lady Bride Nyandi. Tabiso Zondo.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, Relinde Mangwe receives the degree of Bachelor of Accounting Sciences Honours.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Education Honours. Notolo Vivian Bengu. Rosemary Manku. Donald Kagiso Mukosana. Sonwabiso Densil Nyembelele. Matthew Edward Tribe. Keliwe Zinhle Vilakazi.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, Vice Vaneth Pillay receives the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Commerce. Letitia Chris Shundet. Rosina Nomsa Mahlakola. Gift Baloy. Lihlabile Raphatla Beta. Mukhadi Rachel Kekana. Kidilathile Evelyn Kolobe. Belinda Lutla. Ramohotlo Patlakwena Maesela. Munare Solomon Mafale. Precious Mapula Ponzo Masete. Khotatso Patsi Matema. Melody Nkateko Mate. Notando Perseverance Gabi. Mapula Julia Mkwena. Coden John Mpande. Pavalo Tsepang Oloshunde. Julian Eric Osner. Itumeleng Kabelo Raplana. Lindiwe Peladi Setobia. Prudence Lungelo Shangase. Sbusiso Fortunate Sbanyoni. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor Jaden Rodney Swart obtained the degree with distinction. Reneilwe Valencia Tavane. Pawalo Goodness Tavane. Tebogo Chibase. Bui Koni Choba. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, Carla Naledi Esmeralda Freyd obtains the degree with distinction.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Accounting Sciences. Shanaine Tanika Barros. Zandile Rebecca Duma. Chaira Dominique Ibersay. Venice Ferreira. Gideon Gerardus Hoog. Dinio Marta Kotsekuane. Moses Tsepo Lebese. Lucas Tsulofelo Lekabe. Abednego Patisane Mabena. Nontando Leratu Mabuza. Admission Makiwe. Mashadu Posha Madula. Mishuma Makuva. Malachi Patient Makuyane. Mupelelo Utani Manye. Mutsai Mopelisa. Devon Tumiso Matenchi. Lurentia Matlaila. Yvonne Maumbe. Pareshni Moodley. Monica Timbisa Ndlela. Peter Ruben Nel. Petrusile Cantigo Pahu. Sigurdan Pillai. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, Sarah Lee June Staton receives the degree of distinction. Congratulations. Sharon Tobiane. Manai van Skalkwyk.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Social Work. Patutezo Charles Doyoyo. Noktula Mbali Mnisi. Clementia Refilwe Mulubela. Delight Takalani Mukwevo. Shane Smarts, the degrees obtained with distinction. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, The following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Oh, my apology, Mr. Vice Chancellor. The candidate, Dipuo Mwelwa Ramashija, receives the degree of Bachelor of Information Science. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidate receives the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Kanyisile Lungile Dube, the degrees obtained with distinction. Busisiwe Belina Hlatshwayo. Maloebo Charmaine Lefaladi. Palisa Janet Nkunu, the degrees obtained with distinction. Mahlati Meisi Molokomme. Mamulifi Muchope. The degrees obtained with distinction. Ayanda Mtetwa, the degrees obtained with distinction. Kiliabetwi Stefina Posa, the degree is obtained with distinction. Charlotte Spongile Shabalala. Tandeka Goodness Zulu. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidate receives the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Rejoice Tsakani Baloi. Kiara Leah John. Swet Khan. Ambali Layet. Ophelia Dimakato Maditi. Constance Lebohang Maluleke. Vuyelwa Princess Mangete. Tabang Jacob. Oh, my apology again, Mr. Vice Chancellor. Vuyelwa Princess Mangete, the degrees obtained with distinction. Tabang Jacob Mutloduana Mawela. Aloko Georgina Sheriti Mukau. Sean Katleho Mutimele. Terren Naidu. Maropene Tsehofato Grace Ngwana. Diangwani Gift Ntwani. Tsehofato Ramaboa. Puti Victoria Ranchi. Maruping Mary Paul Siku. Magdalena Elizabeth van Heerden, the degrees obtained with distinction. Kanyisile Vilakazi. Tato Zelda Khaladi. Liane Renee Khan. Shaheen Khan. Shazni Sherazain Koopman. Orient Mahonisi. Lerato Katleho Mamukhere. Mary Sponono Mampodo, the degrees obtained with distinction. Lerato Kulani Maruta. Delcy Mashile. Bongiwe Polite Mazibuko. Sylvia Trifina Muntiwahai. Nelisa Primrose Mpinda. Nashnia Naik. Anza Eunice Nengovela. Reneilwe Nkwana, the degrees obtained with distinction. Nolwazi Maibongwe Ntuli. Chris Marie Patterson. Doe Gebrand Pretorius. Urban Cornelius Rulofse, the degrees obtained with distinction. Untameti Shole. Yvonne Yuda.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Education. Mohammed Yassin Ahmad receives the degree with distinction. Vutivi Sharon Baloi. Felicia Bem. Pamela Bassi, degree obtained with distinction. Timini Eniste Bell, degree obtained with distinction. Kotatso Kevin Bilankulu, degree obtained with distinction. Tsepiso Bokaba, degree obtained with distinction. Masego Mashudu Chipa. Malihu Landa Dibakwani, the degrees obtained with distinction. Lesedi Manape Ditsile, the degrees obtained with distinction. Lerato Gledwin Hawahiwi. Mary Lee Jonker. Lebohang Kate Ketlele, the degrees obtained with distinction. Makotso Evelyn Khatitswe. Makama Kotato Kama, the degrees obtained with distinction. Simpiwe Kanyile. Duduzile Kumalo. Khunze Dipuo Kaopeng, the degrees obtained with distinction. Thank you. Motlatso Mosa Komane. Offense Maria Lekwati. Tandeni Lucky Luke. Elizabeth Ntabiseng Mabena. Vuiswa Majanga. Angel Mandisa Mashangu. Priska Kanyisile Mashangu, the degrees obtained with distinction. Dineo Beauty Mahoa. Tikizwa Mary Makeleni. Tsepo Masepe Mamukhawane. Ko Franz Manakas obtained degree with distinction. Manare Velnia Manamela. Khomotso Rejoice Mangani, the degrees obtained with distinction. Karin Mares, the degrees obtained with distinction. Carrie Ann Martin, the degrees obtained with distinction. Constance Nelly Masalesa. Gabisile Leah Masango. Dineo Cornelia Mashabane. Tsepisho Given Mashala. Tintswalo Martha Mashele, the degrees obtained with distinction. Tebogo Esther Mashile. Matome Moses Mashilo. Mutsizi Masiagwala. Duduzile Catherine Masilela. Vutomi Doris Masinge. Masaulana Maria Matibela. Ntakazeni Matozi, the degrees obtained with distinction. Memory Silindekuhle Metula. Mamulipo Betty Minele. Olautse Mulawa. Zinhle Faith Mgomezulu. Kati Tsurufatso Mwema. Lerato Clementine Wing. Tsepo Rhoda Mufukeng. Khuta Tsomohlapi. Buikanyo Muima.
Malake Mukiti. Letabo Glacier Mokwala Kwala. Rene Rifilwe Neo Mulefe. Hello. I'm fine, thanks. How are you? Innocentia George. Innocent George Momba. Tlaisani Ntsako Mongwe, degree obtained with distinction. Lerato Helen Morotoba. Nomtandazo Rifilwe Amanda Mushuma. Ponso Elisa Motaung. Sorry. Mutimani Miguel Paulina Mutsepe. Rifilwe Grace Mutsepe. Mbuso Ivan Msiza. Kanyisile Nomatula Mtsweni. Tuso Muzuli, degree obtained with distinction. Mashudu Maria Munai. Mukubeledi Sina Mial. Munye Regina Nailani, degree obtained with distinction. Segufato Martha Ngale. Pinky Ngobeni. Cindy Promise Ngweni. Lucia Vonani Ngumal. Martha Dipuo Nyat. Nathan Luke Otto. Joanre Palas. Matsebe Jafta Patha. Matswane Moses Paladi. Laurentia Pala. Mukube Palando. Kamogelo Ramarumo. Matlatsi Happiness Ramudike, degree obtained with distinction. Kriti Rampach. Buikanyo Joyce Ramush. Hey. Mukhatjana Abigail Sehata. Malebu Alice Sekal. Khabu Selimela. Priti Sesen. Sipiwe Vinolia Shabangu, degree obtained with distinction. Lindiwe Molan Simelan. Mpo Lenki Sindan. Jorika Smith. Katleho Candice Tema, degree obtained with distinction. Lebohang Teman. Luzeka Nomsa Chavala. Uhone Chisimba. Helena Hester van der Skeef, degree obtained with distinction. Govan Buipelo Zwane, degree obtained with distinction.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the diploma candidates will now be introduced to you. Shamalane Samantha Shaka. My apologies. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the postgraduate diploma in the College of Accounting Sciences. Chanel Sheni Mestri. There you go. Tamia Sibongile Gwena. Ramatsimele Harriet Kari. Kamogelo Berens Komape. Zuzeka Kendi Machikizela. Luyanda Mali. Fakazile Velma Maluleke. Jasnim Lindiwe Masanabo. Dali Mlambo. Titus Mudibuwa. Margaret Lerato Mudipane. Evelyn Katleho Mohashwa. Khumutso Phimelo Mohapanele. Dinewo Mokoena. Oratile Amohelang Molakeng. Musawenkosi Iwat Mpisana. Paul Muduma. Oops, sorry. Orifa Tondani Mufumadi. Rumbidzai Munodawafa. Qebisile Nhlabathi. Nicolene Wosthuizen. Sharon Majie Phala. Marius Gata. Abinar Mutusi Selebano. Nelson Paul Wolifant. Ntabeleng Mfudwenhle Tamani. Tavonga Tirivaviri.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receives the postgraduate diploma in the College of Economic and Management Sciences. Sibusiso Joel Hlongwane. Pumuzo Kumbuya. Ronald Snenkosi Makaye. Chikudo Makuya. Nonhlanhla Mbatha. Citronella Mutsipe. Mankoma Diane Motsui. Tabisokazi Makweti. Godfrey Haugelo Ramafasi.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidate receives the postgraduate diploma in the College of Human Science. Yetunde Piten Williams.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidate receives the postgraduate diploma in the College of Education. Zikona Dwala.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidate receives the diploma in the College of Human Science. Amy Makai. Lindelwa Ngipiwe Makanya. Zandile Ntantiso. Koketso Paswana.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receives the diploma in the College of Economic and Management Sciences. Spokazi Kolisi. Kutso Basitsana Langa. Rudolph Marcelelo Maifo. Mamuache Josephine Muhache. Wikutso Penelope Tlo.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidate receives the diploma in the College of Accounting Sciences. Minentle Innocentia Mutsweni.
Paragraph 46. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidate receives the diploma in the College of Education. Shanice Juanita Tamia Moodley.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us give the graduates a thunderous round of applause. May I request that all the graduates stay put. Nobody must leave the auditorium at this stage as we conclude the proceedings. Many congratulations to all of you. You have done very, very well. Now, there are certain observations that I've made during these proceedings. To start off with, the teachers over here nearly hijacked the ceremony. I don't know whether they confused these proceedings with what they do in the staff room. That I don't know. But I also noted when Professor Madise introduced candidates for the degree of social work, that the grandmothers and the grandfathers became heavily excited. So I was wondering whether they associate the degree of social work with the grants that they receive or what. But indeed, they were so excited with the degree of social work. But just yesterday, we had a Senate meeting in the auditorium that is just close to this one. Senate is constituted by the professorate of the university, the executive managers of the university, as well as extended management. Now, when the different colleges were giving their reports in terms of progress in various aspects that they are entrusted with, the executive dean of the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences showcased the progress they have made as a college in the experimental farm, which is in the eastern part of Pretoria. She showcased the produce that they have harvested and the plants, the crops that they have planted, among other things. Now, that aspect reminded me of a universal principle, a principle that is inescapable. So long you are on earth, you cannot escape that principle. Whether you agree with it or you disagree with it, the principle stays. That in this life, you always reap what you have sown. And in her account, she indicated that last year they planted and they have harvested, and she reported to Senate that already they have made sales that are in excess of 1 million rands. Now that said to me that yes, when you plant, you toil. It is difficult, and there could be a sense of hopelessness that creeps in when you tilt the ground. And fortunate enough, I witnessed that time when they were planting. Yes, there was hopelessness. When you looked at the vastness of the farm, there was no hope. Yet they planted. Now, it was so exciting to listen to that report in particular, that the hard work that was invested in the farm has started giving out dividends. And when I look at you, I can see the resemblances, resonance with that principle. That when you came to this university, some of you did not have hope, but there was something that was compelling you to say, do something. You can't just sit and drift throughout life. And because you learned to embrace the principle of hard work, you started planting. And today, you are reaping the fruits of your labor. Many, many congratulations to you. I've learned as a young lad, I remember vividly, I was doing at that time Standard 5. I came across a set of words in one book, and I don't know what I was doing with that huge book.
It was my elder brother's book entitled Principles of Organic Chemistry. But nonetheless, I opened the book, started paging through. But for some reason, there was a code in one of the chapters which said, there is nothing good that can be attained without pain and labor. If you want something good for yourself, be prepared to suffer some pain. Be prepared to sacrifice. Be prepared to sweat. For there is nothing good that can be attained without pain and labor. Those words became defining words for me to encourage me that in any endeavor that I make, I must be able to sacrifice, to suffer pain, to suffer labor. For at the end, there are rewards. Just like in the case of the farm, when you ask the professor who was giving the report, yes, they toiled. They toiled to till the ground. They toiled to plant and make sure that the crops are well taken care of. I want to say to you as we bid you farewell that please do not forget that principle. And remember, whether you like it or you don't, it is a principle in the universe. It works. If you plant nothing, nothing you shall reap, and you reap it bountifully. Just like the harvest which the College of Agriculture has made. Yes, they planted seeds in the farm, but the harvest is bountiful. To such an extent, they are able to trade with the harvest and make millions of rands. Embrace that principle in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, the value of education, its value and importance is to promote good quality of life in all dimensions. Whether in health, socially, economically, environmentally, or any other dimension of life you can think about. The purpose of education is to improve the quality of life. And if education fails to achieve that, it is useless. It is of no value. You have acquired knowledge. You are an educated person. People are looking at you with an expectation. An expectation that something good will flow from your life to transform the situation and the conditions they find themselves in. If you listened to what Professor Tale said in his presentation of the Chancellor's address, he said, never allow the value of your education only to impact you. Let it transform the lives of other people. For the context we find ourselves as a country, as a continent, the conditions are not appealing, they are not exciting, they are disheartening. Our context, as he alluded, is a context that is characterized by a myriad of challenges. Challenges inclusive of high rates of unemployment. Challenges characterized by hunger. So many people are going to bed without food. Challenges characterized by a plethora of diseases. He made reference to challenges characterized by climate change. With many communities, villages, suffering as a result of excessive and extreme weather patterns. But it is you who has education, who can assist to use the knowledge that you have acquired over your period of study to be innovative and come with solutions that can alleviate and dampen the impact of these challenges on humanity. As we bid you farewell, we do so with a sense of confidence that the excellence that describes the University of South Africa will be evident in your works beyond this graduation. We do not doubt that when you look at this professorate, you see excellence. And even those who are not part of this procession, there is an abundance of excellence. Now, it cannot be that after passing through the tutelage, the supervision and guidance proffered by people who pursue excellence, that you become the opposite thereof. We implore you to go out and exhibit excellence to the world and change the quality of life in every space that you occupy. If you are a teacher, be a different teacher, not an ordinary teacher. If you are a social worker, be an excellent social worker, not an ordinary social worker. That is our imploration to you. Many congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude the proceedings, may I kindly request Dr. Kelemwek Agafari Kaseun to rise. May I also kindly request Dr. Betty Mamabusa Sekhameti Molawa to rise. May I also request Dr. Nesta Magube to rise. May I request Dr. Rogers Kialo Mutie to rise. Many congratulations to you. Thanks for staying the course to this end. For a doctoral degree is the loftiest degree globally. There is no other degree that supersedes the doctoral degree. You have summited education. Many, many congratulations, because this is a milestone that is attained with a lot of sacrifices and commitment. We congratulate you, and thanks for being a good exemplar. Those people who are seated next to you, we want to entice them to want to be where you are. We invite you to be very close to the university. We want to benefit from your skills together with those who are having masters and those who are having honors. Please pursue your master's degrees. Those who are having bachelor's degrees, continue to pursue your honors, and the diplomas, your bachelor's degree. That is the trajectory which we want to pursue as a nation. We want to turn South Africa to be a knowledge-based society, because it is in that the economy and the political profiles and status of the country will stabilize and grow. That is the desire of our hearts. Congratulations to all of you. We wish you everything of the best beyond this graduation. And also each and every one of you, we wish you everything of the best beyond this graduation. Please be seated. As we conclude the proceedings, I cannot resist the temptation to invite you to contribute towards the UNISA Student Bursary Fund. The University of South Africa is the only university that has opened its doors a lot wider. It is the most inexpensive university in the sector. We allow even students who come from the economic margins, those who come from poor conditions economically, they access education. Just last year, the university spent in excess of 400 million rands to assist students who come from poor backgrounds. And we want to extend the invite to you that if you are able, do contribute towards the UNISA Student Bursary Fund, the details of which are obtainable from the UNISA website, www.unisa.ac.za, and you will find directives there as to how you should give your donation. Ladies and gentlemen, after this announcement, I would like you to rise for the singing of the national anthem, the words of which are to be found on the last page of the program, and to remain standing after the anthem to enable me to dissolve the congregation. You are also requested to remain standing while the academic procession leaves the hall. Please rise.
By virtue of the powers entrusted to me, I dissolve this congregation of the University of South Africa.